Assalamu alaikum. I am Sarmad Aftab Lashari, and today in our vlog Dissecting Propaganda, we will try to do some kind of a psychoanalysis. In our previous video, we spoke about Imran Khan and how he does propaganda. So I think it's important to do some kind of a personality analysis, psychoanalysis of a leaders like Imran Khan. The leaders like Imran Khan are populist leaders. Populism means they use public sentiment and they base their political ideology on the public sentiment, irrespective of what the reality is, irrespective of what the political need of the time is. So we have seen Imran Khan in our lives. He won the World Cup for Pakistan in 1992, and South Asian people have some kind of a fascination with the cricket. Pakistani and Indian people, like in Europe, there's a fascination with football. In Pakistan, cricket is a very close to our heart, and Imran Khan has lived the life of a hero. He is a hero. He's still a hero. And then he goes to build a national Shaukat Khanum hospital in Lahore after the death of her mother, and he believes that that was the time when he interacted with the public for the funding and for the support system, financial support that he required from the public, and people gave a lot of money to him. People believed Imran Khan, and he built cancer hospital, and that was a very difficult job to do in a country like Pakistan, to build a cancer hospital in a third world country where there is no systematic, institutions are there, where there is no mechanism, and in the private sector. And Imran Khan keeps saying that today, that it's very difficult for me to do that because 9 out of 10 doctors refuse me, that this model is not practical model. And then in 1996, I believe, he decided to came into politics. And in the initially he was no attention was given to him, and I believe he was Musharraf's favorite. Pervez Musharraf, dictator Musharraf, offered him, and he claims that he wanted Pervez Musharraf wanted him to be the prime minister of his cabinet. And then we have seen in the initial days of his politics, he was a typical right-wing supporter. He was with MMA and he was with Jamaat Islami, and I think that itself is problematic. And if you look at its evolution, his 3 marriages, I don't want to comment on his personal life, but I'm more interested in his ideological understanding. He married Jemima, and then he married Riham Khan, and then he married Bibi Bushra. So he became more from liberalism to conservatism, from liberal to he became a conservative person, and he believes that there was a realization in him that he has become a very good Muslim now, and he has become an ideological person, and he understands Pakistan's ideology, and he understands West. He keeps asserting that he emphasizes on it that I know the Western society more than anyone else. I know how democracies work, and I'm going to tell you how you should be behaving. And he goes on and comments on women's dressing, and he believes that rape cases, uh, you know, rapes occurred because of the dressing of a woman. Men are not robot, so there has to be a stimulus, and a stimulus is coming from a women who is dressing inappropriately. And then the political vocabulary that he uses, political vocabulary of abuse and slander. We have seen from Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf multiple times the social media team of PTI. We have seen abuse, constant abuse to its rivals and to those who disagree with PTI and its policies, and those who do even fair criticism, those who do sincere criticism on Imran Khan's politics. They get a lot of abuse in the mainstream media, in the Twitter, on Twitter and social media, and he has never questioned that as a leader. He has never stopped that. I believe as a leader, it was responsibility for a global leader like Imran Khan uh, to tell his followers to behave in a way that is acceptable, that is socially and politically acceptable. But we have never heard anything on media saying that he questioned that behavior from his social media team ever. And then recently he was in government. Even if we don't talk about in strictly political terms, he introduced the policy of a U-turn. U-turn is a leader who uh, who take 360-degree approach on his previous decision, and by reassessing the situation, and there was a defense from entire PTI supporters that that is the quality of a high leader, to take a U-turn, to take a reverse approach, and then exactly negating the original position that you took place. So it is quite ironical, that is the peak of irony, that is absurd argument that he gave. And people still, there is idol worshipping in Pakistan. People believe that he is a somebody, he was a messiah. And then people like Nadeem Faracha has discussed about the Messiah complex. It's like a cult, and his followers, and that's what fascism does. Any populist, any fascist leader creates followers without questions. Unquestionable submission, authority, that almost seems like a divine authority. And Imran Khan poses himself as a solution to all those. And then we have seen the vote of no confidence, 9th April 2022, was a very strange night for Pakistanis. We have seen him violating the constitution. Uh, we have seen the President Arif Alvi assisting him into the matters, and creating a constitutional crisis in Punjab, uh, especially for 1.5 month. The constitutional crisis occurred there, and the governor of Punjab was not willing to accept the newly formed government, constitutional government of PDM, into the National Assembly, into the National Parliament. So again, we have seen that he is a kind of a person who don't pay any regard to the constitution. He is a kind of a person, for him, constitution, like Musharraf used to say, constitution is a piece of paper, and he can throw constitution anytime, according to his wishes. So he does not believe in constitution, he does not believe in parliament. He moral schools, he moral policing, he does moral policing. And he claims that he is the one who is going to create a society, true Islamic society, for him. And that's quite ironic, because Islam believes in following the rule of law. Islam preaches the submission to the constitution. Islam preaches to the contract between citizens and the state, the pacts that Holy Prophet signed. It was an obligation for all the Muslims to adhere to those pacts. And in the civilized world, when the state is signing a pact, and that pact in the modern nation state is the Constitution 1973, no politician can even think of violating that constitution. And after the vote of no confidence, we have seen that he has emerged into a completely different person. He has spoken against our armed forces. He has been targeting the judiciary. He has targeted the opposition, the former opposition who are now in government. He believed that the followers of the governments are the followers of the Yazid. Yazid is a character in Islamic history who was against the Hazrat Hussein, Hazrat Imam Hussein during the Karbala. So he is using religion for the political means. That's very sad, and during that phase, in all these 4 years from 2018, since he won the election after the failure of RTS system, allegedly, we don't know yet how that happened, but he managed to win the election. And then we have seen that society as at large has been polarized. There is polarization. The social fabric of the society has decayed. The democracy has decayed. The democratic norms have been underestimated, undermined, and people at large cannot see that, cannot identify that he's the same person who is violating the constitution. He's the same person who is instigating the masses against armed forces. He's the same person who is creating, who has created crisis. Yeah, he has created a financial crisis in Pakistan. He's the one who did not sign, who did not follow the IMF instructions and gave 20 rupees subsidy on petrol. And then later on, it was there was no choice for the Shahbaz Sharif government, you know, not to increase the petrol prices because we were going bankrupt. And now he talks about a country breaking into three parts. Imran Khan, he's saying that, and he's constantly pressurizing establishment to take a side with him. He's accusing them do not be neutral. So we have never seen that in our history. Such kind of a leader who is there are no boundaries for him, there are no constitutional constraints for him, there is no media blackout for him, there is no we don't know what policy is against him, for him. So Imran Khan, it was very important to do the psychoanalysis, personality analysis of Imran Khan, and he's a propaganda master. When mainstream master, I mean Shahbaz Sharif and Asif Zardari, they do not have the strong fan following like Imran Khan has. Imran Khan is a national figure. He has a global outreach. He has on Twitter, he has a support base of millions of followers. So when you get more support in this mainstream, support political system, then I think it is morally there has to be pressure on you to behave in a moral way, but you don't do that, and that's very sad. And he is a 70 years old man who accuses Maryam Nawaz that do not discuss me because your husband can get offended because you speak my name with so much energy, and you discuss me and you're obsessed with me. And Imran Khan is the age. Imran Khan's age and Nawaz Sharif's age is almost of the same age bracket, and this is how he addresses his rivals, political rivals, with humiliation, with disgrace. That's the problem. So that's what I had to say about Imran Khan. In next vlog, we will discuss some other country, and then we will discuss some other national leader and their actions, and how they are affecting the masses, and how they are manipulating the narrative, and how their behavior is a problematic. Why they still get to they manage to get the support system. Why they have voters in hundreds and thousands and millions. That's the big problem of democracy. Democracy was meant to resolve the problems by talking about the matters that are moral, that are appropriate. But here we see that leaders are doing exactly the opposite, and that's what we need to address, and that's what we need to fix, so that we can talk about problems in appropriate way, and we can get to conflict resolution, at some point of time, where we can resolve the problem, where we can find the solution of the problems that matter to us, the political problems, the social problems, the religious problems, and all the problems. There has to be a reformation in society at some point of time, and that will come through democratic norms and a strong democratic constitution, by following the constitution and by following the democratic traditions. Thank you very much.